Alright everybody, this is going to be a tutorial on it's not really a tutorial, it's tips for ways of programming, and this one is going to be about how to handle objects that hold other objects. So this one is going to be about how you deal with having 2D arrays. You might know what it is, but for the new people that are trying to learn programming, they need to understand that if they don't initialize something, they're not going to have an object to handle, and they're going to throw null pointer exceptions, which means just focus on your programming, and I'll teach you how to do this, basically. Alright, so first we'll make a main class. It's just it doesn't matter what we call it, but whatever. Alright, so I'll be going over basics while I do this. I don't know what you guys know. So when you have something like this, your static void main is your start place for your Java. Whenever it runs this program, it's going to start here. So your modifiers are public and static. Then you do main. I don't know if it's lowercase or uppercase, I forgot. So we'll find out in a second, but whatever. String array args, awesome. Got all that. And that has to be capital. Alright. So, if you run this, I think we can run it. Control F10. I think it ran. Try again. Alright. And then we're gonna do sys out. See if it says anything. Alright, so it's running from here. That's what we want. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make a 2D array. So we're going to do int array array thing equals new int. Alright, so the rule is you have to define one of these, maybe both, and I just one. Yeah, okay. The reason for that is it needs to know how many slots it has on initialization. You can't just tell it it's just an array full of nothing. So there's that. And I think you can define, the second set, but you don't have to. And the reason for that is we can go do array thing, choose whichever index, and then equals new, and then a one-dimensional array. That's what fits in there. And then now you have to define how many this has. Now, if you were to initialize multiple of these, like that, and you give them different indexes, or lengths, you get a jagged 2D array, which basically means if you imagine this being a table with rows and columns, the first row, the first row will have 3 columns, and the second row is going to have 5. Alright? That's how I imagine them. You don't have to imagine them that way. You can imagine them side by side, but then you get a really long length of text in your brain, and you probably don't want that because then you're navigating in one dimension, and that takes a while to go to. Especially if I were to print it out side by side, you'd be like, can you please make some spaces and drop it down? So, no. Anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make a for loop and do for int I equals 0, I is less than array thing. That's that length. Wait. Yes, I want intelligent code completion. What are you? You gotta be kidding me. You're Eclipse. You know this. Alright. Then I++. I cannot code without Eclipse completing my code. That's how it goes. Alright, so we're gonna do a system out thing, and we're gonna spit out array thing I, whichever index I comes up with, and we're gonna do .length. So yeah, we're gonna spit out the size of the array, and you'll see what happens here. Alright, run it, and we get a null pointer exception. Yay. Why did we get that? Well, it's because we have some empty spaces in here of null objects. Basically, it's an empty object with no reference. You know, it's just a space that has no reference. And yeah, but at positions 1 and 2, there is one. So I think what we can do here is say if array thing I does not equal null, then we'll print out whatever is in there. Alright, so we got 3 and 5. Simple. Even though if we go here and do an else, if it's null, we can do null index, and then whichever position it is will be I. We run that, and we get null index 0. Then at index 1 we have 3, at index 2 we have 5, and then we have index 3 is null, 4, 5, you know, all the way until the end of it. And I can change this around. This is what got me into programming. I just enjoyed messing around with everything. Nice. We're going to give it 8 indexes at 6, and we're going to see what that does. Alright, so 6 has something in it. Cool. Although whatever's in that array is also going to be null, so the nested array will have to have items unless you're expecting it not to have items. But basically this just means, you know, if there's something there, then do something. Otherwise you're going to throw a null pointer exception unless you handle it correctly like this. And that's pretty much that. So I'll post another video. If this was awesome, give it a like. Well, not awesome. Alright, if this was mediocre or better, put a like at the end of the video. Yay. Selling myself too high. Alright, I'll see you guys later.